Welcome to We Will Rank You, a group of high school/college friends who get together to rank an album's songs from worst to first. We rotate hosting duties around the four of us, and the host gets to pick the album. So let's quickly introduce the boys. Sam is in Colorado. Say hello, Sam.
I'm in Colorado. My name's Sam.
Dan is in Northern California. Say hello, Dan.
I'm just happy to be here, Jim.
Thank you. And Adam is in Southern California, in that lovely part of the world between LA and Santa Barbara. Say hello, Adam.
Well, hello.
And my name's Jim, and here's my album. The Smiths' The Queen is Dead, their third studio album. Released in June 1986, boys, on Rough Trade Records. 37 minutes long.
Ooh.
Rolling Stone's top 500 greatest albums of all time. Where did it? Anybody have any guesses? Rolling Stone did a top 500 greatest albums of all time.
37.
No way.
Oh my God.
No way. I'm gonna say 402.
Ooh, I'm gonna say 212.
218, Adam.
Oh my God. Excuse me while I get a lottery ticket. Jesus.
This is why I don't write for Rolling Stone. This is why I don't write for Rolling Stone. It would have been 37.
New Musical Express, Enemy, top 100 greatest albums of all time. This is an article from 2013.
Number one.
Number one is correct. What was number two?
Stone Roses.
Ooh.
Number two was Revolver. Number 100 on that list was Hatful of Hollow. Anyway, and we always start off these things. We always start off these things with this. Adam, what was your relationship with the Smiths at the point that this album comes out, and how deep did you get into it back in the
How
day?
deep was your love, Adam?
Well, I think the deepest of loves for Morrissey and the boys. I think I'm gonna be the least biggest Smiths fan on this podcast. I'm pretty sure. I listened a lot, as two of these other guys listened a lot to 91X FM in San Diego when we were growing up, and they played a lot of Smiths, but didn't really go any deeper than the singles, and I never owned a Smiths record, so I just sort of had all my friends loving them, and I knew a lot of these songs, but I was never like a full-on fan. So this was kind of a little bit of an education. I'm not sure which songs are on which albums as much as I've heard kind of all these, but you know, post this album, I've had all these times in my life where I would be completely obsessed with their fandom, which I just love fandom and mania and Morrissey fans and talking to people like you or people at shows, because you know, some of my bands played with Smith's tribute band, so I got to watch these people just go absolutely nuts for them, and I guess I can get into that more later for some of the songs, but I think the thing that Jim mentioned last week was I was wearing a shirt from the Salford Lads Club, which is basically like a gymnasium boys club where in the part of Manchester where they were from, that they're photographed in front of on the back side of the album. I don't even know. Inside. It's
the inner sleeve. Yeah, it's the inner fold out.
So that's apparently it's the number 3 most visited music related tourist attraction in England, third only to Abbey Road and the Cavern Club. Thank you.
Salford Lads Club.
There it is.
Manchester.
So, they were nice enough to take our picture and tweet about us visiting like it was such a big deal, but they had fans that used to write stuff all over it, and they finally decided, well, maybe we should just let these people in, and now they've monetized it, and you can buy more Smiths merch than you can imagine there, and they have a whole room dedicated to them. And
there's nothing wrong with capitalism.
Oh boy. That's
cool.
Let's not go there yet.
So it beats Penny Lane, huh?
Apparently. Penny Lane's just a long street. There's not really it's not like Strawberry
Fields. But there's a
sign.
street sign.
Yeah, there's a street sign, yeah.
Yeah, but every business on Penny Lane is Penny Lane Liquor and Penny Lane Barber and Penny Lane this, which is it's kind of hilarious. So
yeah,
that's pretty much where my Smiths stuff. Who's next? Danny?
Dan.
Well, first I just want to say we actually got almost 5 full minutes in before Jim made his first grimace and his first, oh my God.
Yeah, there's a lot
which
of pain
came when
going
Adam
on.
said that he didn't own a single Smiths album. And just watching your faces during that, Jim, was phenomenal. So I'm going to keep it going. I, too, did not own a single Smiths album in high school, store-bought. I had them taped.
I thought you were going to say you stole one.
You know, when you're a high school student, no, that's Sam's department. When you're a high school student, like, you got to manage the budget, right? So there's the stuff you buy and there's the stuff you tape. And the Smiths made it into the stuff you tape category.
Oh.
I'm just gonna say. But I will say, when I got into college and was making a little more money, then I started buying Smiths albums.
Nice.
So I did become a Smiths fan. It took a little bit longer. They were more of a acquired taste for me. I mean, I liked the radio stuff, but I wasn't a super fan. And over time, my appreciation for them has definitely grown. So had it on tape, taped it off of somebody. I have no idea who. But I don't remember like that first Smiths moment. Mm-hmm. But I don't know. I think if you were into alternative music in the 80s, like, you have some Smiths in you. I can't imagine that you don't. Most people.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
All right, Sam.
So I was on vacation in San Diego, and we were at actually we were up in Fallbrook at a friend of my parents' house, and their son had a Hatful of Hollow on vinyl, and they had a stereo hooked up to outside speakers by the jacuzzi. My friend Jeff and I were hanging outside. We put the album on. We put on Hatful of Hollow, and oh my God, like, it was amazing. Loved that record. It's still my favorite Smiths record, but and then fall of sophomore year, I had a class with Beth Nelson, and she wrote in one of my notebooks some Smiths lyrics that I didn't really understand. It was from Mita's Murder. I didn't really understand what they were from until later, and I think I might have asked her or something like that, and she said, "Oh, it's from the Smiths," and I went and bought the record, Mita's Murder, and absolutely loved it. And just, I was like completely all in. By the time Queen is Dead came out, all my chips were in. My friend Jeff bought the album, and he's actually not even that big of a music fan. I'm the music crazy head, but he bought the record. I remember listening to it at his house. I remember like Bigmouth Strikes Again, listening to the B-side starting, and just I was a huge Smiths fan, as you can see from my collection.
Oh, if you podcast listeners could see what he's showing.
It's amazing. It's all CDs. But like, I've got singles, I've got...
One of those look like Roxette to me. Are you...
That's my wife's copy. That's not mine. Why would I have a Roxette record? Other than it slaps. But
okay, finally.
But yeah, I love the Smiths. I absolutely love the Smiths.
We got to a Smiths fan on this call. Okay, good.
Smiths fan.
Same.
Super fan.
Okay,
sorry.
Thank you, Sam, for being there for me.
Yeah.
No, separated at birth. All right, so here's where it starts. A cassette tape taped the Smiths and Hatful on the other side.
Yes.
And then I think I purchased, I didn't tape off a friend, I think I purchased Mita's Murder, and I could not wait for Queen is Dead to come out. And our friend Scott was the first one to the record store, always buying the latest stuff.
Nice.
And I remember it was a Saturday morning, and he said, "Dude, meet me at Thrifty's and I'll sell you this album. I just made a huge mistake." He went to Lose Records on Friday, whatever it was released. And,
wow.
And he made it to Frankly, Mr. Shankly, and he turned it off and said, "Here, you can have it."
Oh my God.
I remember taking my skateboard. I've never had a more nerve-wracking skateboard ride down Lippman and up Weller Street, with an album, an LP, and it was the fold out, and I was just enthralled. I couldn't wait to put it on.
Yeah.
I was so freaking happy, and we'll talk about the track list, but it's just amazing. That was 86, right? So that turned into a show at the San Diego State Amphitheater, and I've told you guys before, fifth row is my first proper pit.
Yep.
And it went off when Morrissey threw his shirt into the crowd, and there was a fight, and I was like, wow, this is what I thought concerts was about, because my first concert, Tears for Fears, was very, very tame in comparison.
Nice.
And so then it was like, yes, this is what I'm coming for.
Nice.
And Johnny Marr with the guitar looking right at me.
Yep.
At one point,
Great
at least
stuff.
I think he was. I'll tell myself on my deathbed he was.
Wait, Jim, quick question.
Yeah.
Does Scott regret selling you that album now, or is he still best.
No, he's
$2 I've
totally.
made.
I mean, he's not going to change his mind on Frankly, Mr. Shankly, but he's definitely like, oh my God, there's such great tracks on there. I can't believe you beat me up with that story every time I see you.
Got it.
So anyway, needless to say, this is one of the greatest albums of all time. It might be number one. I don't know.
Yeah.
It's definitely worth our attention here. So, Sam, we're gonna do the serpentine style. So Sam through Adam and then back, as we usually do. So Sam, start us off. The worst track on the album is.
I love starting this. The worst track on the record is so easy. It's The Queen is Dead. Oh, wow. Jim's almost falling over.
My God, did you just say those words?
Yes.
Are you kidding me?
It's not good.
Do we want to start this over again from the top? Just give him one more chance.
I can't believe this. Okay.
No, it's not going to change.
This is going to be a great show. Go ahead.
I never listened to it much.
Amazing.
I never listened to it much. I appreciate Johnny's wah guitar freak out. And I also appreciate opening the album because this is post How Soon Is Now, right? So like the big epic track is something that they're kind of known for at this point. Like that song, huge, massive song. Opening the album with a 6+ minute rocker is a really bold move, and I appreciate it. But I don't like it. Like opening with the Take Me Back to Dear Old Blighty, like that lost me from the jump. And so like your friend, like you said, your friend was like out after Mr. Shankly. That was not the case with me. But the first song, I'm like, okay, yeah, keep going, please.
Oh, that's great.
Didn't love it.
Good explanation. Love it.
Yeah.
Okay.
Next.
So go ahead. Jim is next, actually.
Yeah.
Order.
Go ahead, you.
Excellent.
I can't believe.
3, 4.
I can't believe. Seriously, I cannot believe that we don't all have the same worst song on the album. It's
too.
definitely Vicar and a Tutu. Definitely. This is a shocking transition from Boy with a Thorn in His Side as that fades out. And I'm going to talk a lot about fade outs tonight. But as that fades out, just that all of a sudden it just jars you, and you're like, well, okay. And I love the train rolling down the tracks song. I am on the Express Kundalini as we speak. You know what I mean? I love it.
Oh my God. Great reference. Thank you.
I just don't dig this song. And I'm totally an Anglophile, especially at 15, going, oh my God, anything British, just give it to me.
Right.
And the Vicar, I mean, that's a term we don't use here, right? And
no, no.
It's not priest, it's not minister, it's Vicar. And so I'm totally, it's like spelling color with a U. I'm totally in. I want to
Absolutely.
I'm going to go to church with my mom and say, oh, can I talk to the Vicar? But I don't think I knew what a vicar was back then, other than some like, I always pictured like Friar Tuck in my head in a tutu.
Nice.
That was me.
Okay. I think I watched enough Monty Python to know what a vicar was, but
yeah, there you go. That is definitely my number 10 out of 10. All right, Dan.
Yeah, I agree wholeheartedly with you that there is an obvious number 10. But you guys both got it wrong. It's unbelievable.
So good.
The clear number 10, and honestly, Jim, I'm going to be totally honest, as much as we often differ, when you said that, I really did think we all had the same.
Me too.
That song is Some Girls Are Bigger Than Others, which is the most throwaway for an album that is so meticulously crafted.
Wow.
That song is just like, do we have one more? And for an album that creates so much atmosphere at the end, I don't know, like we're just the lyrics, the song, it's not a terrible song, but Smith's Hall of Fame, this is not like it is. Yeah. This song, nobody would notice if this song went away.
So I just have to interject really quick. It's not only a better song than Vicar and a Tutu, it's a better song than Queen is Dead. I won't say any more until we get to where I've got it placed on the record, but wow.
Okay.
It does a better job of the fade in, fade out than any other song. That's their
Dan,
clever little...
I might even beg to differ on that, but go ahead.
Dan, you have that line, right? Like the line of.
I do have the line, and it's higher than 10.
Okay. Good. All right.
Yeah, me too.
All right.
Funny enough, I do agree with someone's opinion of what the worst song on the album is, but strangely enough, it's not Jim, not Dan, it's not Sam, it's our friend Scott Brown, apparently, because my number 10 is frankly Mr. Shankly. So, well played, Scott.
I love it.
This changed this morning. I listened a little more to some of the songs that I don't know like the back of my hand, and I had to do some switching around. So my number 10 was one of the ones you guys picked. I won't say which one yet. But now it's frankly Mr. Shankly. Obviously, I'm a big fan of the ska, but I think that they did it a lot better on, what is it, A Rush and a Push? Off of Strange Ways. I love that song. But frankly, I mean, it's maybe it's just the play on words, and that it comes off a little bit too wacky for them. And I love the way Morrissey uses humor in his lyrics.
Right. Whether
it's, super sad over happy music or whatever it is. But in this case, it just didn't really do it for me. So that's my number 10. And that means I'm going to do my number 9 too. Is that how we're winding back? So my number 9 was number 10 this morning, and that is "Some Girls Are Bigger Than Others." Thank you, Dan.
Oh my God!
Knew it.
Everything you said about such a not great way to end an album, because there's at least three songs on this album that could have been an amazing epic closer, and this one they deliberately early on decided was going to be the last song to sort of lull you off, is what producer Stephen Street said. And I was like, when he said that, it made me like it. It made me like it even less, because I knew I had it in the right place, because it was on my last. And then the more I thought about Shankly this morning, I'm like, eh. But the thing that I'll always be tied to it, as you guys know, I manage the world's only all midget Smiths tribute band, Morrissey.
Little person,
height challenge band, and their motto is "Some bands are bigger than others." So if you want to check out that band, that's their handle on Instagram at "Some Bands Are Bigger Than Others," and they were photographs at the Salford Lads Club.
Right, I remember seeing those pictures.
That picture is one of the only things I've ever been involved with that went viral, and I had nothing to do with it. They're short, and people seem to like that. So that's my number 9.
Dan, number 9.
All right, I have a prediction with number 9. 10, Jim made the face on 10 when I said "Some Girls," but I don't think he's really that upset. I believe that's going to be in his bottom 3 or 4. There's no way it's not. But number 9, Jim is going to be legitimately pissed, I think. My number 9, and maybe Sam too, because separated at birth. Number 9 for me is "I Know It's Over," which you guys know me well enough. Jim is now shotgunning his next beer.
You can't see a face palm on podcast, Sam.
You guys,
but I heard it.
I'm recording the Zoom. We can put this out.
Look, you guys know me well enough. A song that is very sort of mellow. I'm going to even go so far as to call it wispy. It's kind of wispy, and it's there, but it just doesn't go anywhere for me. It just doesn't do anything. Wow. It's good atmosphere. It would make a hell of like a torch. I'd love to see it as like a torch song in like a dimly lit jazz club. But I like the rest of the album too much. 9 is...
We still haven't hit your line, so this is below the line of songs that you think are good.
Let's go around the horn real quick. What's your line, Dan?
If the definition of good is like I don't miss it if it's not there, then my line is right here. So in other words, starting with song 8. If this had been an 8-song album, I wouldn't have missed anything.
Okay. Same here. 8 songs.
All right.
I got 7.
Oh,
mine's 9.
Jim?
Mine's 9. The only thing I can throw away is Vicar. Everything else is gold.
Wow.
My number 9 is Bigmouth Strikes Again.
Holy.
Wow.
You're just trying to be confrontational.
It's interesting because I read the reviews of this, and like people are putting it like number 13 of the best Smith songs. I'm like, are you fucking kidding me? Like,
No,
it's a
there's no
good
way.
song. It's not
That's
that good.
Ridiculous. Yeah. Okay, guys, I love harmony. I mean, this is, I grew up on the Beatles. I think that one of the best bands in the world and the best harmonies in the world is the Posies. And I just want two voices singing every lyric, right? And this album does not have that. This album does not have it, right?
Sure
except for on this song. This song has that high, and I was reading up on it. I thought it was like Christy McAuliffe or something, but it's like Morrissey sped up or something is the high voice. Anyway.
She did a take on it. She did a take that they didn't use.
Yeah, I meant to look that up. Is it anywhere out there?
She did take that they
she did a take of Bigmouth doing the backing vocals, and they scrapped it in favor of Morrissey doing the sped up little.
Okay. Anyway, it's freaking awesome. I love this. This is a freaking jammer. This is a jammer. And the middle eight drums, I mean, how long can you freaking go? And then I mean, it is so... I think it's just a result of too many times on the radio. You know what I mean? The overplaying that just... I mean, every time it's on, I'm not going to change it. Of course, this is a freaking awesome song. It's just not better than the other songs in the album.
I have to admit, I started with it somewhat low, and then I had to talk myself out of the overplayed thing, because it is, you do kind of go in going,
we've talked about that before.
Again. But I'm a huge believer in, like, you got to go back to, like, when you first heard it, if you can,
I think that's the interesting part about this album is what was your list in 1985 or 86, and then what is it today? It's definitely going to be different. All right, Sam.
So my number 9 is Jim, Vicar in a Tutu. And here's what I have to say about it. Initially I said, it's fine, I appreciate the country style lick, but that is wrong. It's the turd in a punch bowl of side 2. I noticed I didn't have it ripped from, like, when I pulled these tracks from my MP3 stash, I noticed that I didn't have it ripped in my MP3 collection, and now I remember why. Putting this in the middle of the gorgeous triplet of Boy with the Thorn in His Side, what's the next one? There's a Light That Never Goes Out, and Some Girls Are Bigger Than Others. Stop. Remove it and enjoy the flow of side 2 forevermore. It's like, it just does not fit, like exactly what you said. It doesn't fit right there. And I mean, it's fine, but just maybe as a B-side. That's where I'm at. So that's my number 9.
Number 8.
My number 8 is, and again, I really like this song.
No, you don't.
But it's just where it fell. Frankly, Mr. Shankly. It's Frankly, Mr. Shankly. It's funny, it's light, but harsh and enjoyable, so it's a great sing-along. And so this is where I want to interject that I feel like this record is the last album where Andy Rourke's bass was so upfront and poppy, like popping out at you, and the Smiths were worst for it after this. I feel like that was like a great signature sound for them, and especially you get it on Frankly Mr. Shankly, and
that's true.
After this record and I went and listened, and it's just, he like follows the melody more, and it's just more like in the mix, and it's like I love that bass being so out front and just like, and he's a fucking amazing bass player.
Oh, it's so fucking good. Good job, man. Excellent. All right.
Thanks.
So I'm a number 8, which is Never Had No One Ever. And I'm wondering about, is this about being a virgin for 20 years? Is this, I don't, or is it just like, nobody loves me. 20 years, 7 months, and 27 days would place Morrissey when he wrote that lyric at January 18th, 1980. There is a beautiful groove on this thing. It fades out. Another fade out song. There's something about just getting into a groove and it can't stop. Anyway, I love this freaking song. All right, Dan.
You know how I feel about grooves that don't stop. I love them. So my number 8 is not that. My number 8, to keep with the theme, is Frankly Mr. Shankly.
All right.
Frankly, Mr. Shankly is one of the main reasons it's not 9 or 10 is Morrissey. This song is hilarious. I love his, it's basically him insulting over an oompa beat, right? It's almost like a diss rap track over a oompa beat, but it's all Smiths. It's crazy. But I have a major beef with this song. And it's interesting, Adam, because you said it with, who was talking about, Vicar and a Tutu coming out of Boy with the Thorn. Sam was talking about that. So my beef is Queen is Dead sets this incredible atmosphere.
Agreed.
We'll get back to that in a minute. The album opener, like we're talking about, that manic energy, and you're like, holy shit, like what is this album going to be? This is unbelievable. The whole thing is going to go down. It's going to be unlike anything else. And then you go into Frankly, Mr. Shankly. I mean, back to that earlier point about this album closer, right? There are literally any of the other songs on this album, I think you could have gone with number 2. It would have been a better match. This is a sequencing disaster, seriously. Like, I can't think of too many worse switches in tone for an album that ultimately is much more like The Queen is Dead than Frankly, Mr. Shankly. So that's the big beef I hold against it, even though as a standalone song, I'm fine with it.
Gosh, Sam, you are back just in time to go with your number 8. Dan
it's Adam.
Oh, I'm sorry.
It's me.
Adam. Which was Dan's?
Hey,
which
Dan's
my 8 was Frankly, Mr. Shankly.
Okay.
And
nice.
he talked about the harsh transition between Queen is Dead and It. Go ahead.
Terrible.
Adam.
So my number 8 is Vicar and a Tutu. And I initially thought I was going to put this one higher. They do that kind of galloping beat on other songs, I think, a little better. I like Shakespeare's Sister and I like Death at One's Elbow. But this one never really did as much for me. But it definitely kind of hints towards Morrissey's rockabilly leanings later. Like Your Arsenal is still my favorite thing he ever did. But on this one, it just doesn't quite do it as much, but it's still kind of a ripper. So I have that at number 8. And then at number 7...
Wait. Rush Home Ruffians from Meet Is Murder.
Oh, is that another one?
That's a really good one.
That's the Scratch My Name on Your Arm with a Fountain Pen one. Oh, it's beautiful. All right, go ahead.
Nice.
Your number 7.
So my number 7 is Never Had No One Ever, which is like... It's like one verse, and then it's just this dirge, but it's such a hypnotic dirge that I don't even want it to end. Nice. And there's nothing really... It's not like there's some instrument going off. It's just this. It's just this mood and loop, whatever you want to call it, and it just for something that has so little in it, I'm just kind of surprised. But the more I listened to it, and I'd heard it, but hadn't really listened to it all that much, so that was one that kind of creeped up. From not being a whole lot. So that's my
nice.
Excellent. All right, Daniel, number 7.
My number 7, The Boy with the Thorn in His Side. Great song. Love the song. Amazing named song. I do want to say that in my 20s, I flirted with writing a short story / screenplay that was called The Boy with the Thorn in His Side. I just felt like that song and that title alone just kind of led you down a whole side alley. That was fun. Yeah. Ultimately, why is it 7 versus some of the others? I mean, again, a lot of the songs of this album, they kind of set a tone and they sort of, they just kind of expand on that. And this one just, to me, doesn't grab me quite as much as some of the ones above it. But I find myself hooked on this song all the time and singing along.
Yeah, absolutely. My number 7 is Some Girls Are Bigger Than Others. I absolutely love the fade in and fade out and fade back in, and I'll tell you why. Because I remember hearing it for the first time, and the same thing is Take Me Back to Dear Old Blight. You remember hearing it for the first time. What the hell is this? And by the way, and you want more, like, whoa, no, Johnny, like, turn that shit up, what do you, and he does, right? And here, I've been doing a lot, I'm taking off my glasses and I'm rubbing my eyes as I say this, guys. I've been doing a lot of thinking about this. I've got headphones in on my runs, and I'm like listening to this, album in preparation for this. And you guys remember Finding Nemo, and you remember the sea turtles, and I don't know about you, but that was the first time I ever learned about, like, that there's these currents that make you go faster through. Like, you can plug into the current, an Australian current or whatever. It takes you, and that's what this him turning that up. It's like these guys get into a groove, and it is just plugging into that that current, and that's why so many songs on this album fade out. You can't stop it, man. It is a freaking stone cold groove, and there's no way you're going to stop. Never had no one ever. You can't stop that song. You have to fade it out. This is another one that you have to fade. There's so many on here. 70% of the songs, I looked it up, or listened to it.
Nice.
70% of the songs fade out, right? And so when you get to this point, the last song of the album, you're like, yeah, dude, I get why, what else did I say about this one? Remember the end of When Harry Met Sally, and they play Old Lang Syne, and Harry and Sally get together, and Billy Crystal goes, what does this song mean? My whole life I don't know what this song means, right? That's some girls are bigger than others. My whole life I don't know what this song means. But I will tell you, it has the best line on the album. That's debatable, I know, but it's also the last line on the album. Send me your pillow, the one that you dream on, and I'll send you mine. The best line is the last line of the album. So intimate, so freaking cool. And then there's a minute 4 left in the song with no lyrics, and it just fades out. Freaking A+. Stephen Street is right.
Great song.
God bless America.
Great song.
I love that you mentioned the fade out, because how many songs have a fade out that or fade in that fades out right away? And I was like, oh, that's really interesting. And then I saw or heard somewhere that he was trying to simulate a door closing.
Yeah. Like when you open a door and the sound rushes out and then it closes.
Yeah.
Which is kind of a neat idea, but I've heard that, well, Sam will know that Love Jones did it, and other bands have done that, where you hear, or Bjork did it really good too, where you hear something coming through a wall, and then the door opens. It really, but they didn't do that. They just faded it up and down, which I was like, oh, I almost wish they did more. But it's a cool idea.
Adam, Jellyfish, she still loves him.
Don't know who that is.
Somebody had a theory that on those like on pre-release tracks and stuff like that, they would like kind of fuck with the beginning and stuff just to like, and they had a theory that was actually released that way, and that maybe the door opening and closing thing is a retcon, because like it doesn't make any sense to me. Like, it's been done better and could have been done better, but I had the same kind of wonder, like, why are they doing that? But so which
not expect.
All right, Sam.
I just want to say, at the start of the night, I did not expect that during talking about this album we would reference both Finding Nemo and When Harry Met Sally. those are not the first two movies I think of, but now I will.
So
so
one other thought: Send Me the Pillow That You Dream On. That's that's from an old song. It's I know that Dean Martin didn't do it, but that's "Send me the pillow that you dream on." And
Sam Daniel?
Okay.
Well, Dean Martin. Dino. But it's that great Morrissey tradition of lifting lyrics and thoughts from other songs and then just incorporating it. So you might think it's theirs or it feels like theirs, but it's not. And that's actually part of another song on the record, Cemetry Gates. But my number 7 is Never Had No One Ever. The same thing that's been said before. The song is essentially over after 1:30, but they continue to vamp over Johnny's jangle and twang for another couple of minutes, and it's just so good. It's
so good.
Yeah, they just lock in, and it's just like Adam said. You just wanted to keep it going.
Beautiful.
So moving on to my number 6, Bigmouth Strikes Again. is my number 6. I thought it would be lower, actually. But, yeah. Well, and after hearing Vicar and a Tutu and the Queen is Dead, I was like, well, this isn't that low. Sorry.
Keep bringing
throwing punches.
You keep bringing up Queen, and it's okay. Go ahead.
And I first thought it would be lower. I first thought it should be below Mr. Shankly, but it's the Johnny's riff slash solo.
Dan wants to tell the same joke as me. Don't we all want to be below Mr. Shankly? But go ahead.
Zing. But Johnny's riff or slash solo after the first chorus kept pushing it higher and higher. And like I said before, like I vividly remember this song being the first song on side 2. And Johnny's syncopation after the drum solo is also key.
So good.
The verses are great, delivered with wit and vinegar as only Maz could. Like, it's the Smiths kind of in a little nutshell, and it's really great.
That's
Beautiful.
really well put.
My number 6 is "Boy with a Thorn in His Side." I love this fucking song. I don't know why there's a melancholy associated with this song in me. I don't know what happened in 1986 to me, but this is the song that the John Hughes movie plays in my head. You know what I mean? Like that. This is that sound. It's just, I don't know. I think the B-side to this single was "Asleep" and one other song, and I don't know, I can't remember what it was, but I remember having this single and playing the crap out of it.
Oh wow.
And after all this time, they don't want to believe us. I mean, it is. The lyrics are great. The yodeling at the end, you know, he's just vamping, and it's just like, just put a microphone on it and just go. And every measure is different in his yodeling. You know what I mean? He's never repeating things, you know. And it's just it's another fade out. It's beautiful. Love it.
The other B-side is "Rubber Ring," by the way.
"Rubber Ring." There you go. All right, Dan. Number 6.
Number 6. I think then that leaves me as the highest ranker of Vicar and a Tutu. Is that right? Have we all?
Wow.
Oh my god. I think so.
I will take Country Smiths. I'll take Country Smiths any day. This is so much fun. I don't. You guys lost me. I don't understand what's wrong with this song.
The sequencing. The sequencing is what's wrong with it.
And I'm going to give that award to frankly Mr. Shankly.
Sam, what's sequencing?
What?
Like where it is on the album, the sequence.
Yeah. Like where you put it in the album. That's why it sucks for me. That's why it stands out and sucks for me. Like I said, it's fine, just not where it is, and that drove it lower for me. And frankly, Mr. Shankly for me is so refreshing after Queen is Dead. So like I really appreciate that sequence.
I love how deep you've now dug your grave, Sam. Like you're like
the Queen is Dead. Cemetry Gates. Wow, you're just tying it all together, Dan. This is great.
Oh man.
Canister and banister. Like I'm all in. He can do that rhyme like 8 times, and every time I'm like, I just love it. No one's done that one before, and Morrissey was like. Anyways, I just look. There's nothing overly brilliant about the song, and yet I'm happy every time it comes on. Every single time it comes on.
Fair enough.
I'm like, I'm in, and my mood goes up.
That's fair.
6 beats.
Yeah.
That's fair.
How many Smith songs can you say that about that your mood goes up?
Oh.
All right.
Most of them.
Oh, come on. Yeah.
For me.
Dan, you were getting a lot of head nods, and then you ruined it.
No.
Okay.
Look. There's. I'm kidding. It's a fun song. I love it.
Fair.
It's got a beat, and you can dance to it. Okay, go ahead, Sam.
Snappy.
Adam's 6.
Oh, I mean Adam. I keep doing that. Go ahead.
You know, we used to be friends. So my top 6, I could see all of them being somebody's number 1. They're all like that good to me.
Nice.
So my number 6 is "I Know It's Over," and it's definitely the most, I guess, in fitting with what non-Smiths fans would think of as the Smiths. Mm-hmm. Like slower, moaning, like overly morbid, like the dirt, you know, like being in a coffin and the dirt falling on your face. Like that's pretty dark stuff. But it's just so him. Oh, it's just so you, Morrissey.
Yeah.
That I can't not love it. Like for that reason alone, it's so him. There's not a whole lot going on. It's a pretty mellow. Track musically. It's really just about his lyrics on this one, and he's so Morrissey on this.
Oh, it's so good.
So that's my number 6. Number 5, speaking of the dirt, is Cemetry Gates, which I love this song so much, and it's definitely the complete opposite. It is so happy, and despite being set in a cemetery, it's not about anything sad. He's excited to go hang out with somebody. I'm pretty sure if you've seen England Is Mine, he has a female friend before he was famous, and they used to hang out and meet at a cemetery. So that's possibly what that was about. There is a place in LA, a famous cemetery, Hollywood Forever, that Morrissey adores. And
naturally,
even though as a kid he panned the Ramones, he had a picture taken of him that was viral at one point of him like lovingly leaning on Johnny Ramone's grave, and he has not played there because they do concerts there. I saw Floating Lips there, and it's incredible to see shows there. But Johnny Marr has, and holy missed opportunity, he didn't do Cemetery Gates. I guess he's never done it. But I was like, that's such a no-brainer. He lived here until 2007, I think, is when he moved to Rome.
Morrissey. Yeah.
It's like, oh my gosh, how could you not have played a show at the cemetery where he's now, like, apparently in some interviews said he wants to be buried there? Like, that is just the ultimate to me. Like, I have no desire to see Morrissey ever again, except if he played Hollywood Forever Cemetery, so I could see him sing that song.
Right.
That's beautiful. What, he lives in Rome now? He moved
I didn't know that. I thought he was still in LA, but
wow.
You got out.
All right, Dan. That's great, Adam.
All right, guys. I'm nervous. About this one.
Oh, God, here we go.
The Queen is dead.
Let's rip it off. No. Let's rip off the Band-Aid. My number 5 is There Is a Light That Never Goes Out.
Yeah, I knew it.
Yeah. Look, I've read enough Smith's lists and all that stuff over time. I know that I am sinning against Smith's orthodoxy, and it's a great song. It's number 5. The lyrics are phenomenal. I mean, this to me is ground zero of the words with the happy music and the words just joyfully being sung about the absolute worst outcomes. And I love all of that, and I love the song. There's just 4 songs better, if I'm being honest with myself. So I get it, but I have to admit,
Dan. You gotta
every time I saw these Smiths list where this song is always like in the top 5 of their entire catalog, and I just never got it being that high as much as I like the song.
Fair enough.
I totally agree. I don't know about you, Sam, but I could Sam, I could fill an album with my favorite Smith songs, and I don't know how many on this album make it. But yet this is such a good album. You know what I mean? Like,
interesting.
That says a lot about how good their singles are more than anything else.
Yeah.
I mean, they're an amazing deep band. Okay, go ahead, London. Go ahead, Jim. I'm next.
Caller.
Go ahead.
I'm next. So Cemetry Gates is my number 5. Is that where we're at? Mm-hmm. This was my number 1 as a kid, guys. This was when I heard this album. This was my number 1 for sure.
Yeah.
I listened to it. I thought it was the best song ever. And then I also remember, oh my God, I'm getting smarter listening to the Smiths. I mean, Keats and Yates. I'm gonna go read because of this band. Oscar Wilde, absolutely. Give me. Never read a book. Don't know anything.
I felt the same way. I felt the same way listening to the Philosopher's Drinking Song by Monty Python.
I have no idea what Keats or Yeats is all about, but God bless this
They're
song.
great.
I loved it.
They're fucking great
and
poets.
I'm more the dizzy whore, I guess, than these guys. But it fades out. It can go forever. The freaking guitar, you could learn to play it really easily as a 15-year-old. You could never get the speed and the timing down as well as Johnny, of course, but you could at least give it a go. And this was your entry point into playing other songs of this album, and it was freaking awesome. And I love this song. All right.
Also, when you learn this song, then you also know "Here's Where the Story Ends" by the Sundays.
Yes,
Yay!
great call. Which is also an amazing. Which is my number one Sunday song. No spoiler.
I thought you were going to say your number one Smith song.
What a call! Unbelievable. All right.
Right off the bat,
now it's Sam. I'm going to say it correctly now. Sam.
So my number 5 is "The Boy with the Thorn in His Side," and my comments are another great sing-along. Because I have great sing-alongs all over this record. It's soaring, keys off the desire for love, and because we all want love. But one of the things that I was really interested in reading about, not that we all don't want love, and switching gears from that was that was a gear grinder. But I was reading about the Wikipedia, and they said that they recorded the initial recording with Stephen Street was made at a small studio in Manchester, and initially intended as a demo. And then they released it as a single. Like this take, they released as a single because it was that good. And I that's one of those reading it, just like there was something special going on in the studio that day. That it was just like they went with this one. I mean, kind of like what Dan was saying. Like the top 5 are just super class songs for me. I don't know. I think a lot of the songs up here would make like a top Smiths album for me. But it would be close. How many songs on there, right? Like 12 songs, 10 songs. Right. But yeah, a lot of these would make it. Which brings me to number 4. As a lot of people have said already, Cemetry Gates, another great sing-along, great humor, a cemetery hang with your pal over a sunny boppy tune, and he's kind of ripping on himself a little bit, I think, with how much he takes other lyrics, takes other people's words and stuff like that, and puts them in his own songs, because Oscar Wilde did that. Oscar Wilde was the one that said, talent borrows, genius steals. So this was, I think, Morrissey kind of taking the piss on himself a little bit, and Marr below. I mean, the fucking music of these guys is always just so good. And I mean, when you realize that it was like Johnny Marr would go, here's a tune, and Morrissey would go, okay, and then come up with lyrics on top of it, you realize that I mean, they worked so flawlessly together. And, it wasn't like a Lennon McCartney thing where they each had great lyrics and songs and they would bring it each. This was clearly, the music was Marr, clearly the lyrics were Morrissey, and sometimes they just met just perfectly, and this is another one of those examples.
Can I just say that you're absolutely right. Everything you said is genius. The guy who would later write, I wear black on the outside because black is how I feel on the inside.
Yeah,
is dropping lines like it starts out, let's go where we're happy, but then let's go where we're wanted, and I'll meet you at the cemetery. I mean, let's go where that's to a 15-year-old. Jesus Christ, that worked. That worked a lot.
It's great.
Okay. Awesome. Okay, number 4. Jesus. Number 4 is I Know It's Over. Still I Cling. I don't know where else. Oh, sorry. I love the song. If you're so funny, then why are you on your own tonight? And then just cycle through all of the clevers, and it is when it hits, love is natural and real, but not for you, my love. Not tonight, we are at a crescendo, and it is going off, and it can go forever. And it is not you're in a grave with some dirt over your face. It's, oh mother, I can feel the soil falling over my head. And he sings it a different way each time. Each time when he's going off, I mean, it is how many? I mean, literally, put a mic in his face and say, "Okay, Steve, how many times can you sing this in a different way? The same line in a different way. Go."
That's a great point.
And he does it. He does it, and it's just amazing. It fades out, and it can go forever. And I love this song. And it's so Smiths. You're right, Dan.
I just want to say, I feel like I'm in like a Smith's college class with you guys. The amount of wisdom I'm absorbing from you professors is inspiring. I love it. Like I've said in the past, I am not changing my order. You're not that convincing, but it is a joy to hear you guys. It's a joy to hear.
You know what? And that's why I love them more than I would without hearing people loving on them so much. It's totally infectious, and going to see a Morrissey show or a Sweet and Tender Hooligan show in Southern California, the derby band, is just like it's unlike anything.
Well, yes, true, but actually I'm going to give the credit to Jim and Sam, because it's just the way they're talking about the songs that I'm especially loving. Like, yes, they're crazy fans, but their genius, despite Jim having never read a book, is impressive.
Can I say, Adam?
Yeah, go ahead.
I was just going to say that I came into this going, okay, I can't wait to tell these guys what I think. And then about 5 minutes before it started, I went, holy shit, this is awesome. I get to hear what they think about these songs. You know what I mean? It's the best. I'm so excited.
The best podcast in the world.
I'm so excited.
Even if it wasn't a podcast.
It is kind of interesting because you talk bands and stuff with your friends, of course, but I don't think I had like this in-depth of a conversation about one album with people before we started doing this. That's the fun of it. You know, you kind of go into this exhaustive detail, and it's ranked lists, which Adam and I love to do.
And also, I think that you guys are in that perfect sweet spot for me of, because there's a biography called Morrissey and Marr, The Severed Alliance, and it's shit like that where like every part of their lives is so over dramatized, and people put them on a pedestal in a way sometimes that I can't deal with when they're talking about them a little bit too over intellectually. Like they talk about the trauma of him actually having a job, and it's like, dude, come on. You know, and I love that too. I love reading all of it. So yeah, but you guys are you know, passions just like yours. All right, who's next?
Nice.
All right, you guys.
All right, so we are to Dan with your number 4.
My number 4. So look, y'all showered all this praise on this song, and yet none of you had the guts to rank it this high. So I'm just going to do it for you. My number 4 is Never Had No One Ever. This song is incredible. I mean, just that slow, endless, relentless, just you know, kind of that groove, and it feels so heavy. Like I want to hear like Tool cover this song. It just feels feels like it's interesting. It almost feels, there's times where like the drums and guitar, like it feels like one starts to lag behind the other and then sort of catches back up. It's like stuck. It's like stuck in heavy mud, and it can't reach second gear. And
oh, that's great.
You know, those drums come in like all manic, but it never.
I was going to say the hardest this song hits is the open. But bam, bam, and then it just
boom, boom. Oh,
washes out.
It just kind of rides it out. And there are times that I had this song higher when I was kind of making this list, but this song's just a joy, and I don't think I would have noticed if it had gone another 5 minutes. I would have been totally fine. Like, just keep riding this out. This is all mood.
That's true.
You know, it's all mood.
Yeah.
I agree.
I feel like after everything Dan says, I should be like, and it's great on drugs. And it's great on drugs.
Right.
And it's great on
That's implied. That's implied.
Adam, number 4.
All right, my number 4 is Bigmouth Strikes Again. And like we've talked about, with a lot of these songs that we've heard a million times, it's hard to judge it sometimes, and you kind of take a step back. I've never thought, oh my god, I love this song, but then again, listening to it just to rank it like we do, I couldn't deny how much power there is on the parts that you guys talked about. That drum, you know, the snare thing in the middle going into that like ticking guitar bit is just so great. It's interesting because a lot of the stuff I read, and I never thought of this, is they were saying that this is, Johnny Marr considers this his Jumping Jack Flash, and they were definitely going for a Stones thing. I've never thought that even remotely.
That's interesting.
But Stephen Street even is like, well, that's why Morrissey's going woo-hoo! In the middle. I'm like, oh wow, I never would have guessed that in a million years.
That's some good stuff.
I mean, everybody loves the Stones for sure. They semi-famously the guitar riff from How Soon Is Now was Johnny Marr trying to do the Stones version of Bo Diddley's Mona, if you ever, which I'll very nicely fade up right now underneath at a later.
Thank you, Adam. That's so kind.
Hear. But
you're not supposed to call that
song.
out. You should just, anyways.
Oh, but breaking the fourth wall.
Way to go, Kimball.
You're still here. Go home.
But funny enough, that my main memory of this song is Jim's dad gave him a bunch of old 45s when I first met him. This is like in 10th grade. And I came over and I made a tape switching between a song from Jim's dad and a song of Jim's. So it'd be like, these old 60s,
That's
50s
cool.
songs and then something new. And I don't remember what song was right before it, but Bigmouth is on there. And I thought, oh, this is a good song, or a good tape for me to play in the car with my dad because it has something for both of us. And Bigmouth comes on, he doesn't say a word, and then right after it is some song like Who Put the Bomb or Blue Moon with a bunch of blah 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 blah, like it's just total nonsensical lyrics. And he says, he looks at me and he says, that's a lyric. That Joan of Arc song, that's not music. that Joan of Arc song.
So good.
It's like the greatest. I'll never forget that for my entire life.
Oh my god.
The kid doesn't have it half as bad as Joan of Arc.
Love
No, not even a little bit. But yeah, I mean, it is so. He's so self-aware in this song because he's in the press every 5 seconds, talking shit about everyone and everything. He's like, ho, Bigmouth strikes again, ha. But it's great stuff. So
you know what I read.
We're on to
hang on, Adam. The thing that I read was today was that Joan of Arc with her Walkman starts to melt and then her hearing aid starts to melt is the. He will never get rid of this Bigmouth. It's going to last from when he's a kid with a Walkman until he's an old person with a hearing aid, And I was like,
that's a good connection. People are smarter than me.
All right, go ahead. Sorry, Adam. Go ahead, Adam. Sorry.
There was something, and maybe one of you two hardcores would know, but there was something where he was wearing a hearing aid on stage for a bit. Like there was a fan of his that was hard of hearing and was self-conscious about it, so he started wearing a hearing aid on stage as a prop.
I read that line was kind of a nod to their hard of hearing fans, but whatever that's worth.
Interesting.
Number 3.
That
we got Jim's still here.
To number 3.
We're in the top 3.
Bronze.
So my number 3 is There Is a Light That Never Goes Out.
Wow.
And I do love this song. It definitely in the overplayed category. Not overplayed because, and I had to look this up to be sure, 91X did not play this song. To me, this is like the number one fan favorite of the Smiths. Like it and it's mainly because of the lyrics, but it's beautiful. But yeah, to be hit by a double-decker bus is, to die by your side. It's just the greatest. The way he sings it is just so great. And when people can't find the humor in what he does, but that's just kind of the ultimate of a melody and the sweeping strings behind it, and he's singing that. It's just
and that's the Smiths, right? Is like people talk about like the Pope of Mope and all that sort of stuff, but the humor in it, and even in a song like this that's so dark, but it's somehow it's just like so over the top ridiculous. Like, if a double-decker bus crashes into us, to die by your side, what a heavenly way to die. Like, it's just so... Oh, my God. Like, it's just so over the top. But it's so real it's that juxtaposition.
It's funny. A friend of mine got married in Ensenada, very very Catholic ceremony, and the priest is speaking in semi-broken English, and in one part it was straight out of that line, and he's talking about how you would give your life for your partner, and you, Christopher, if a bus was hurtling towards Aime, you would jump in front and be killed, and Aime, you would jump in front of a bus. And he like made his point to like start over and say this thing about the bus, and I was like, oh, if only Morrissey could be here to hear this. It was so great. But funny enough, getting hit by a double-decker bus is the number one reason and only reason why Morissette didn't show up on any dates of their UK tour that I was on with them in 2017. Every single show before Morissette, the all-midget band, was supposed to play, I get a call from their manager that they'd been hit by a bus again before showtime, and it just became a running joke of the tour. They literally never showed up to any of those dates. So,
oh wow,
never trusted.
We're gonna have to edit that out.
Dan. Yeah, that's gonna be erased.
Short person.
Just to clarify, though, would you rather have had Morrissey show up at Hollywood Forever Cemetery or at your friend's Ensenada wedding? Like, you can only have one. You can't keep wishing.
He's not Santa Claus, for Christ's sake.
Come on.
He's omnipotent.
All right, Dan, number 3.
Yeah, my number 3 is Cemetry Gates. I'm going to go a little bit higher than you guys. You guys already covered all the reasons. It is an incredibly happy song, and it just feels very genuine. It also feels to me like the song on the album, I think, Sam, you were saying this about, the music, Johnny Marr brought the music and Morrissey added the lyrics. This one, more than every other song on the album, just feels like it just all fit as a single song. It's such a perfectly formed...
Yep. I agree.
Just a perfectly formed song altogether, and the playing makes the singing better, the singing makes the playing better, and it's just... This song changes how I feel while I'm listening to it more than any other song on the album. Like, I actually feel the chemicals in my body start to shift. Also, I thought Cemetry... Cemetery was a perfectly good word until I heard him sing Cemetry. And now cemetery sounds like this disgusting, like, American word, like cemetery.
Right.
That's how you got to say
and
it.
spelled.
I never want to use the word
and
cemetery.
spell it that way.
It starts with an S-Y.
And spelled that way. It's not just a pronunciation.
Oh, that's so great. So I was saying, Dan, up more than 6 points in your mood, because that was the Vicar mark. So this one is above 6.
That's above 6.
Okay.
That's above 6. Yeah, exactly.
My bronze
You're keeping score.
My bronze is the freaking excellent tune called Frankly, Mr. Shankly. And let me tell you why.
Love it.
Whoa. Hold on. I need a second. Okay. Hold on.
First of all,
because you scored the album off Scott Brown. That's the only reason.
First of all, we don't use last names here. I'm just kidding. The opening,
because there's only
Scott
one if
Brown.
you Google.
Okay, Jim's my rap name.
The opening guitar strum, guys. That rich freaking acoustic, just ring, and it's after Queen fades out, and it reminded this song. The theme of it reminds me of Smithers Jones from the Jam. It reminds me later on of "Step in the Office Baby" by Belle and Sebastian.
Nice one.
It's just I love the whole. This guy talking to his boss thing. I love it. I bought in right away. The 15-year-old in me loved "You Are a Flatulent Pain in the Ass," or
of course,
or whatever.
Of course.
And it's just and it. This is not anything like anything, but "Kiss Me, Kiss Me, Kiss Me" into "Catch" as a track 2, where you're just like, whoa, this just took a turn. Catch is nothing like Frankly, nice. I know. But my point is like, this album is gonna fucking surprise you. And because if you think of like, if you think of the end of Mita's murder, we're going a certain barbarism begins at home is what I'm trying to come up with. It just grooves bass. It's going. It's. I don't want to say hard, but you know what I mean. It's deep.
Yeah.
And then you open with Queen, and then you go to Frankly, and I was just like, holy shit, I immediately love this fucking song, this album, everything about it. I don't want to like read all the lyrics to you because they're all great, but that's how I freaking feel about it. All right.
That's a great
listening to me.
That's a great comparison. Kiss Me came out after this, but that's a great comparison. Like this wild freak out opening song, and then it's like, what? And like long epic song, and then you're like, what? Perfect description. That's an excellent call out.
Well done.
My number 3. Bronze medal for me. Some girls are bigger than others. I love the melody. It's
yes.
Melody?
Yes.
Melody. What melody?
I had no idea that was going to.
I love you, Sam. Sam, excellent.
I love the melody. I love Johnny's guitar work on it. The bass into the verses is so good. The open to fade out, it like that doesn't. I don't love it as much as it you know, and it's a neat little gimmick. But yeah, it's one of my favorite songs on the record. It closes the record, and it just kind of, it fits along with the other ones. Like I was saying, it fits along with Boy with the Thorn in His Side, There's a Light That Never Goes Out. Like if you take Vicar in a Tutu out, if you resequence it somehow and like move Vicar in a Tutu to the first side, and then move I Know It's Over to the second side, and then have Bigmouth, like maybe like sequence that in there, like then that's just like a really great flow. But Vicar just pops up in there and just like wow. But yeah, Some Girls, I think it's just a great album ending.
Vicars are always popping up in tutus in unexpected places.
Right? Yeah. It's like the Spanish Inquisition.
Excellent.
Nobody expects it.
Nobody expects the Vicar in a tutu.
Okay, before you do number two, I just want you to know I'm looking at all our lists. I'm writing them down as we go, and I cannot stop thinking about how weird Cemetry sounds now. So thank you, Dan.
Cemetry.
That's going to be in my head forever. All right, Sam, number two.
Number 2 is I Know It's Over. It's a classic, sad teen song. It's another great sing-along. The build is gorgeous, and then it pulls back, which makes the climax even better. Yeah, like it's just that push and pull, and the lyrics on this song do it for me every time. It's so sad. Like it's so easy to laugh. It's so easy to hate. It takes strength to be gentle and kind. Like hearing that again, like you were saying, like as a 15, 16-year-old, you know, it takes strength to be gentle and kind. It's like, dude. Wow, he's right. Like, you know, like it's that light bulb moment, and it's so great. Like, and then like, oh mother, I can feel the soil falling over my head. It's that classic sad ass teen thing of like, everything's terrible. I just, you know, dude, but it's just Sam, so soaring and grand.
Love is natural and real, but not for you and I, my love.
Not for such as you and I.
Oh God!
It's some of the best lyrics he's ever done. So good.
This shit's getting deep right now.
It's really good on drugs.
So good.
All right, Dan. Dan.
No, it's Jim.
Is it me?
Jim's number 2.
I'm skipping over
Jim.
myself. Well, we don't need to do me.
Take it away.
There Is a Light is number 2.
It says you.
Okay. We are.
He's celibate. Like
we are back from the train ride of Vicar, and we've here we go with There Is a Light. You know how I said there's no harmony on this track? The strings, on this album, the strings in the chorus here, you know, if you can just hear them in your head, they are the harmony that I crave, you know? God. I think there was a little bit of me at age 15 that was like, all right, I've got my my permit. I'm going to be driving in 1 year. Be 16 soon. I just wanted to play this and drive down Governor Drive at 11 o'clock at night, you know, with just nothing but street lights, and just be, you know, driving by myself, listening to this car. And I love the in a darkened underpass, I thought, oh God, my chance has come at last. If you can hear the delicate little notes above that, you know, boop, 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 you know, that's the first time you hear that. and then it's over the end when he just the chorus is only, I mean, the name of the song is only sung at the end. There is a light that never comes out. That is such a great resolution, or just like, why is it called this? And then there is a light, and it's so satisfying the first time you hear it, and it's got those little plinks above it. Boop, 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 boop. And I freaking love it, and it repeats to
very Bobby McFerrin.
It repeats to fade because it cannot stop. It is a just freaking excellent song. That's my number 2. All right, I'll stop singing.
Love it. Love it.
Thank you.
Great string imitations. All right, guys. My number 2 moved all over this list. Actually, that's not true. It never fell lower than 6, but it was
Don't lie
lower.
To me.
And
you're like, that's not true. Don't you lie to me, muchacho.
Shut up. But it ended up in number 2, and that song is Bigmouth Strikes Again. Now,
nice.
Look, you guys know me well. You know that I am a sucker for just a fucking single. A single that will withstand the test of time. And so I absolutely love that story about Jumpin' Jack Flash, because that is exactly right. Like, they don't write There Is a Light That Never Goes Out thinking it's going to, like, dominate the US charts anyways. Like, but they're not obsessed with that, which of course I respect. But there's something about them saying, okay, now we're going to take all of these skills, this morbid sense of humor, the way Morrissey sings, the instrumentation, those driving drums, and we're just going to create a single for the ages. And to me, that's just what Bigmouth Strikes Again is. Nice. Like, it really is timeless once you kind of remove the layers of overplayed. The one thing that drives me crazy on this song is that harmony thing you were talking about, Jim. I can't stand the sped up harmony.
Love it.
That drives me. If you took that out,
God,
the song
I love
would
that.
be stunning. That's what actually pulled this down. Like, that is not aged well. That whole little. But other than that, oh my God, this song is.
I suppose you don't.
Yeah, the name's great.
The name of it alone, like Big Mouth Strikes Again.
I suppose you don't like Fairy Tale of New York either.
I mean, not my favorite, but no, but there's something digital in that effect. That's the thing that drives me crazy. It's not Kirsty MacColl. There's some little, like glitchy thing in it. I don't, you can tell that it's processed, and that's what drives me crazy.
Yeah, for sure. It's funny because as much as it doesn't sound like the Stones to me, the one song it does sound like, and it took me years to figure this out, and we've had it on the list of mashups to do for forever. It sounds a lot like Crazy on You by Heart. It's got the same rhythm.
Oh wow.
It's got a really like fast acoustic thing, and you can literally play that riff over it.
Wow, that's a good
such a great medley.
All right,
do that.
That might even rank it higher, to be honest.
And that's the funny thing that you guys that did not like the overplayedness of this song, but Mr. Colorado Boy never had it overplayed. It was never overplayed. We didn't have it on the radio out here. Now
I feel bad for you.
It's still ranked for me number 6, so But yeah, that was an interesting thing for me. No,
Adam,
it's fine.
take it away.
Go.
Oh, sorry.
Yeah, is it me?
It's you?
Okay. So my number 2, I thought for sure was going to be my number 1, and that is The Queen Is Dead. And he brought it back to open his sets about 10 years ago, and I had a whole new appreciation for it. It is so thunderous the way it starts, and Jim hit it on the head with comparing it to The Kiss, because it's a total wah-wah workout. It's 6 minutes plus. The only unfortunate thing about it, it's got a little bit too much of that chorus on his guitar, which it's pretty rare that you hear his guitar sounding really 80s. It usually sounds pretty classic by this point, but some of the early stuff too, it's all flanged and chorused, and it doesn't have the umph that it could. But he, after the Smiths broke up, he was in the Pretenders for
right,
and they did a bunch of shows opening up for U2, and those were like my holy grail for a while, to find video of him in front of a stadium crowd with the Pretenders playing Back on the Chain Gang. But what I didn't realize was that the best part about that is I don't remember if they opened with it, but they did a cover of Hendrix's Roomful of Mirrors around that time.
Wow.
And it's all wah-wah, and he is destroying on it. It is so good. So I always think of that. But I don't get tired of it at all. For 6 minutes, it's just so good. But interesting, I was talking to my roommate is from Wales, and I was asking him a little bit today about the Britishness of it all,
right.
And starting the whole album with this kind of obscure to Americans movie, but there was this whole tons of British movies that we'd never heard about over here. These
right.
Sometimes they're referred to as kitchen sink movies.
With Nell and I.
With Nell and I is a whole different
right.
whole different story, but that kind of stuff. And there's so many references, and he was telling me about these obscure TV shows and movies that some lyrics were pinched from, and it's a wonder that us Americans can get into something that's so British, and him just railing on the monarchy didn't mean a thing to me when I was 15.
No.
But I just watched The Crown, and it makes a lot more sense now. But regardless, it's just such a rocker, and it's maybe the most rocking thing they ever did. And seeing it live was amazing. So the last time I saw him was on that tour, and he opened with it, and it was just like, yes, this is what I want.
Excellent.
So it's my number 2.
Excellent, Adam.
Good call on the British thing, like you were saying, like God Save the Queen by the Sex Pistols. No connection to that at all, other than it's just a fucking great song.
Yeah, exactly.
Excellent, Adam. Number 1.
So I do my number 1 now.
Oh, yeah.
Yep.
Is that right?
That's you.
Yeah, you're starting to get
I've got computers, I've got dogs, I've got so many things going on. Is it my turn yet? So that leaves my number 1 to be The Boy with the Thorn.
Wow.
Which I love.
Mm-hmm.
It is just so majestic sounding, and it's really more than anything just about that guitar riff. It is just so beautiful, and the lyrics are interesting and great, and I guess the thorn in his side is what he's said is the music business. So it's him whining about how the music business is giving him a hard time, but it's like, how can you look in my eyes and still they don't believe me? Like, how do you doubt my sincerity? There's so many great little lines, but it's really about the guitar stuff. And it was my favorite for a while, and then I didn't think about it so much, and then I heard a recording of Jeff Buckley doing it, and it just completely
I'd like to hear that.
And it's beautiful. And he must be a huge Queen is Dead fan, because he also has done I Know It's Over. But Boy with Thorn, the way he does it is just so beautiful. It's just him and the guitar.
Jay Mascis does it.
And Johnny Marr, if I recall.
Wow.
He's like just an acoustic, just Jay Mascis acoustic.
Johnny's played with him at some show.
Amazing.
Find out what that is. I can't remember what that is, but yeah.
That's cool.
So at that last Morrissey show, he opened with Queen is Dead and played Thorn. So I was more than happy. I was thinking, like, is there any Smith songs that he could play that I would really get excited about? Because I already knew what he'd been playing and hadn't thought about it too much, and I was so genuinely happy to see both those songs get played live in front of thousands of adoring fans.
So great.
Perfect.
All right.
My number 1.
Excellent.
Next.
Dan.
All right, 2 quick announcements before my number 1. This is like my ad slot. Number 1, just if we're going to
sleep number beds,
live shows. That's right. There's a special this week code. There's
QAnon is dead.
Thank you.
My favorite Johnny Marr live story is that I actually went to go see Paul Weller, and who hops on toward the end of the set but Johnny Marr, and they rip into a town called
Coachella,
and I was in heaven.
Coachella, right? Yeah, I've got it.
Nice.
That's amazing.
Beautiful.
Amazing. Second thing is, I'm deliriously happy because this is now the second straight show we've done where I have the same number 1 as Jim, which the day I have the same number 1 as Sam, that will be a red letter day. But for now, Jim, that's already amazing. My number 1 is The Queen is Dead. in the Hall of Fame as one of the best album openers ever. Like, you put this thing on, Take Me Back to Blighty, brilliant. Just you're like, to Jim's point, like, what is going on? And then that high guitar wail, and get ready, those drums are going to start, and they are never going to stop. They are never going to stop.
Preach.
This song is like urgency, like you wouldn't, like you guys talked about like the wah-wah and stuff, but like the urgency, like, yes, I know it rails against the monarchy, but like the image that was always in my head, especially as a kid, was like running through the streets of the town, like announcing the queen is dead, and like the shit's gonna go down, revolution's about to happen, like people are gonna take over the streets, like it's going down. Like that is the image that I had.
Wow.
And I still actually have, it still enters my head all the time. This song is just like a call to arms, and the intensity is just so high, and I love my intensity. So, yeah,
so would it hurt
decision.
the song at all if I mentioned that the toms, the drums, the bum, bum, ba, da, ba, da, ba, is a sample? They sampled it and repeated it. Does that?
It's a loop.
Oh right,
it's
yeah,
a loop.
A loop. Thank you.
Played
See
it.
that somewhere?
He played
No, it's fine. I mean,
I'm not trying to ruin it.
That for most of the time I knew the song, but no, it's fine. The guy's forearms.
Mike Joyce played those drums, though.
Fair enough.
Played that the whole time. Does not ruin it. It's
point of order. Mike Joyce played those drums, though, right? I mean, we're not saying it's a sample from.
Yes.
Okay. Thank you.
Right.
No. Yeah, it was a loop.
No, it's an old James. It's an old James Brown sample.
It's the funky drummer beat.
Someone call Ringo because Mike Joyce can't handle this one.
Dan Buchacha, you're a genius. So take me back to dear old Blighty. I had no idea what Blighty was. Only later I find out it's England. I cannot tell you how British and cool that was to my 15-year-old ear. Then the drums, then the bass. It is fucking moving right away, and this song can go on forever. I wrote down in my notes, groove is in the heart. At the end of this thing, you're like, wait, that was only track one? Like that was a tour de force. I swear to God, that's the whole album, and that was only track one. There are so many cool parts of this that I'm trying to remember what I thought back then instead of what I think now. And I think that my favorite line was, I heard you and you cannot sing. It said, that's nothing, you should hear me play piano. I thought that was so fucking cool and just beautiful. and I timed this today. There's a minute 53 left in the track when the last lyrics are sung. There you have almost 2 minutes left to go. And you're telling me that I mean, that John Squire and company are hearing this from in Manchester, going, okay, Fool's Gold and I Am the Resurrection are going to have the same freaking. We're going to go 4 minutes each. It is. The ending just kind of it ends out. The ending is and it breaks down. But it could go forever. I'm counting that as a fade out. I swear to God. And it's the best song on the album, and I did not know it was when I started this project, but it is.
Nice.
All right, ladies and gentlemen, it's up to Sam.
Wait, one last thing.
Yeah.
One last thing on that, really quick. What instrument is that at the end? Those three notes that keep like repeating. Oh, I just love that.
Sounds like you're singing.
Like, what is that?
Union City Blue by Blondie.
It almost sounds like a dulcimer, almost.
It's I was like, it's harp meets sitar. Dulcimer is an interesting idea. Oh, anyways, those three notes just repeated over and over at the end.
Oh, so good.
They deserve. They deserve it.
I'm gonna let you guys have that. That's great. Thanks, that you guys are so hype on it. That's wonderful.
The disparity in this country from
we're so polarized.
Yeah, as a Smiths fan, you gotta love it. My
number one's an easy one. And I've obviously not said it. Everybody else has said it. There's a Light That Never Goes Out. It's the double-decker bus line is classic sad teen. It's another great sing-along. Like it's just like these rankings do. It just kind of worked its way up above the others, and maybe on a different day it would be I Know It's Over. Maybe on a different day it would be Boy with a Thorn in His Side. But I mean, for the most part, like there's only a few songs that it's going to be for me, and this one just kind of made it to the top. And it's funny because listening to everybody else talk about their number ones and their top songs, like I start to think do I really love it that much? But kind of like Dan was saying, like you feel like your chemistry change when it's on, and it's just like the Take Me Out Tonight, like Anywhere I Don't Care. It's just that feeling. You can feel it kind of well up in you, especially like as a teenager. It's so just good. That Anywhere, I don't care. Just take me out. Just let's go. And I just want to be with you. And I don't care if I die with you because this is perfect. And he says it, but he doesn't say it. And it just like soars, and then it just like drifts away to fade out. And it's great. It's great for me. It's my number one. We're home.
Excellent. Oh my God. Okay, that is excellent. Wow. I will email you boys the final list. So that's the end of Queen is Dead, and now it's on to the next album, which as we rotate through hosts, Dan, you are the next host. Could you tell us what's going on?
I'm so excited, guys. So look, I set up a couple of criteria, because you got to set up criteria before you make a
charts and graphs.
Like this.
Charts and graphs.
And that's right. Criteria number one was I want to try to match exactly what happened tonight, which is everybody's lists are dramatically different. So that's got to be an album that goes deep. It's got a lot of great cuts. That's number one. Jim looks so worried.
No, that's good. I was worried. Now I'm okay. Okay, go ahead.
Decision piece number two is I wanted to pick an album that I honestly wasn't sure how any of you felt about it. Like, I'm pretty sure you all know it.
He's having NXS flashbacks. You got to give him that.
Because I know some people that love this album, and I know some people that absolutely roll their eyes overall at the idea of this artist. And then the third thing was I said, you know what, guys? It is time to get out of the 80s.
Yes.
Can we at least move ourselves into the 90s?
Why on earth are you on this?
We are moving past our city block. We're going to go explore a little bit deeper.
Oh, God.
1997.
Ooh.
I talk, of course, about Spice by the Spice Girls.
Yes. I'm in.
I'm totally kidding.
Damn you.
Don't worry.
God, thank God.
Hold on. My Apple Watch says I'm an AFib, you guys.
Adam is a huge Spice Girls fan, and I swear to God you guys set this up before.
I knew Adam would bite on that. My next pick, guys, is... So until 2 weeks ago, I had no idea how anyone felt. Now I'm feeling better because my pick is Radiohead, OK Computer.
OK Computer? Yes! Wow. Yes, you beauty! Get in!
Wow.
Love it. Thank you.
Because here's the thing.
Yes!
The Smiths are sad.
Songs will be sung about you.
The Smiths are sad with a sense of humor. Tom York is like, guys, that shit's not funny. Life is not funny. It's all terrible. So let's take it one step lower. Let's go for really like the deep. Let's get deep into alienation.
I will say that it's my
for.
fourth favorite Radiohead record, and I've listened to 5.
Oh, it's already started. It has
gloves are off,
that
motherfuckers.
It's not like, hey, Adam, note for the editor, drop it right there. And everyone's going to tune into the next. Because where the hell do you go from
I know,
there?
exactly. Sam, as you're preparing for this, headphones are absolutely crucial.
Oh, yeah.
Crucial.
Yeah.
1,000%.
Dan, I am
is one
so
of those.
impressed
Jim is
with
pumped.
you. God.
Jim is pumped.
God, let's go. I feel fitter,
I'm pumped.
happier.
I had to keep telling myself to focus. Once I decided, I had to keep telling myself to focus on Queen because I got that excited.
Great.
Awesome. Love it.
All right.
So, as Jim said last time, study up.
Guys, that was fun. Thank you for doing that with me.
Yeah, thanks for choosing it.
Yeah, fun one.
Super fun.
I thought, well, there's only 10 songs on this album, so maybe it'll be, we'll finally get one under an hour, but I knew that since we all had such strong opinions on it, we're now over 90 minutes, and that's totally fine.
Oh, no.
Because that's what this deserves.
If you cut up my bathroom breaks, it's like only like 5 minutes.
I was going to extend those, but whatever.
Now, I hope, Adam, at the end of this, you are going to fade this episode out, right? Because I feel like that's the way
I would never, ever, ever, ever do that. Please follow We Will Rank You at wewillrankyoupod on Instagram, Facebook, and Twitter, and let us know how you would rank tonight's tunes. Sam writes about music on the web at yourolderbrother.com, facebook.com/yourolderbrother, and on Twitter at olderbrothersam. You can find Adam's music page on Facebook and WordPress at yourdoinggreat.com. That's YERDOIN, he said in third person. Please subscribe, rank, and review our show on your favorite Potamajig, and send us a note with suggestions and high praise to wewillrankyoupod@gmail.com or via youknowwhatyousshouldhavedone.com.